question comes from Rob Mills, who wants to know about the difference between the flower and pendulum sweep. He says he's a little confused on what they are. And then from there, he wants to know, like, kind of when would you use one versus the other. So we're going to talk about the flower sweep, the pendulum sweep, and when you might use one over the other. Today's assistant is Corey. Okay, so let's talk about the flower sweep versus the pendulum, when you might use one over the other, and kind of what they are. So again, this is my definition, so your coach may differ on it, but this is how I see them. Come on around this way. So the flower sweep, to me, most of the time is kind of a counter sweep. So for instance, a lot of times when I use the flower sweep, it's kind of hard no-gi, so we would imagine that we'd have some pant grip here. You can do it though sometimes by using the side of the leg here, but a lot of times it's more of a gi sweep. Now, what we'll do is as soon as he gets off balance slightly, sometimes people bring their knees in and start breaking the guard low. Boom, we post the leg, kick him over. Okay, so what that looks like is, without him being there, I grab the wrist. I'll have a grip here. So basically, I take away his hand to post on this side. I'm grabbing here on some part of his leg, and as soon as I feel him go off balance, I post the foot, kick over top, and knock him off balance. So come on in so we can show that with you in there again. So again, doing the move, I grab the wrist and I have some grip on the leg. And as soon as I feel him move around to where I feel like he's off balance, boom, the foot posts, I grab the wrist and pull it across my chest. He now has no post on this side at all, right? The leg then kicks up, and then I'll extend the leg over and then come up to mount with it, right? So that's what I see as a flower sweep. Now, the flower sweep, typically, when I use it, again, other people have some setups so you can check theirs out. I typically use the flower sweep as a counter sweep. So a lot of times what I'll do, and I'll put a video with me explaining the flower sweep in better detail down in the links below, but basically I'll use the flower sweep kind of as a just relaxing. A lot of times I'll kind of play possum a little bit. Like even sometimes I'll act like I'm tired on the bottom, and I'll have a really loose grip on the leg and the arm. And then as soon as they start moving around, boom, I'll go for it and I'll open up. So I use it as a counter. The pendulum sweep though is different. So the pendulum, going back to it, is going to be more to me of an offensive move. So in jiu-jitsu, you have like different types of moves. You've got your defensive moves, you've got your offensive moves, and you've got your counter-based moves. The flower sweep for me represents one of my counter moves. The pendulum for me is a offensive move because I'm going to initiate it. So like right here, we get a grip on the wrist, arm, basically anything on this side that's going to prevent him from posting. A lot of times I'll play with a really loose grip on the wrist or the sleeve. From here, this arm is going to go underneath, and we're going to get that like muscle grip, or you can think of the waiter grip. And then from here, we're gonna open with the legs. Now this is where the pendulum part comes in. A lot of times people will resist this sweep, right? So we use this leg to rock their body off balance, right? And then at the same time, this leg comes up. Once I feel them dipping, the pendulum comes back, and I kick the hamstring and follow them up. And so the pendulum motion, if you think of a pendulum, right, swinging around, we're here, it's turn it over. So it's a hip movement. So we hook underneath and then we turn over. So if I'm in here, I've got my grips here, hooking underneath. Again, I want to pull the person towards me and then kick underneath to get that momentum. And some guys, like I've seen some dudes who have a really good pendulum sweep, and like the person's resisting and they're like swinging one, and they like finally get it. So you can use it very offensively. And again, I'm kicking up with the hamstring, and then I'm coming up to mount. So again, the way with the pendulum is, to me it represents a offensive move. So again, the way that I use it. So I can use that very aggressively and go for that sweep. I get them off balance. I can use it for a lot of setups and sweeps and everything else. But the first one, the flower sweep, mostly a counter. This one's mostly an offensive move. So those are the two. That's my definition between the two for you, Rob, and that's how I use them. So hopefully that's helpful to you. And again, if you want to see more videos about those two sweeps, I'll put them down in the links below for you, and hopefully that's helpful to you. So I'm finished, and I'll talk to you guys next time.